this. Stop worrying about other people. But
Can't make everybody happy. You can't take care of everybody.
yeah, I'm trying to learn that really bad, but it's very tough. But
Oh wait, shit! I gotta put my hat backwards. We gotta be the banner. Look at us, couple cute couple cuties.
all right.
All right, man. Hey,
Howdy.
how's it going?
How you doing?
Welcome to Coming Up for Air, an introspective podcast. I feel like the lights are so much closer to the camera this time.
You're the lights, dude.
Yeah, I think I just fucked it up, but it's okay. They're wash lights.
I mean, yeah, you're the
You're
the lights, camera, action guy.
Yeah.
And the guy in front of the camera and the guy behind the camera. You know what I mean? You're just him.
Yeah.
You really are him. You know that?
I'm gonna hate that.
That's disgusting. I think everybody's gonna hate that.
Thanks, bud.
Oh.
Appreciate it, man.
Wow.
Hope y'all are doing well. Today we're talking about tech in the next few years, kind of what things look like technology-wise and where things are going, and a whole bunch of stuff in that topic that everybody's kind of scared about but doesn't really want to talk about.
Because it's terrifying.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about all of that. But before we dive in,
Oh yeah, I hella wanted to. This is the first time I actually remember off rip. As soon as you told me, because this is crazy to me. The boy, Joe Rogan, and I don't know. People have a certain feeling about Joe Rogan just because of the way his podcast and he just goes about his life. I envy Joe Rogan only because that man truly
just doesn't fucking care.
To the core, does not give a flying fuck about who you are as a person, what your opinion is, how sensitive you are, or what you feel, bro. That man is gonna let you know how he feels, and then if you guys disagree, he goes, I can see where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. Do I agree with it? No. Do I think it's stupid? Absolutely. But that's my opinion. He'll still shit on. He does what you do. He'll shit on you, right? But then make you feel good about it at the same time. And that's what people don't realize. It's amazing. It's beautiful, bro.
I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that, but yeah.
I've watched you do it.
At the same time, I've seen some Joe Rogan clips, and I'm like, damn.
You know what I mean? He does it to people, and it's amazing. And he's so honest about when he has someone.
Maybe that's why I don't particularly love him, is because I know that what he's doing.
And his biggest thing is when someone else is smarter than him in the room, he has neuroscientists and astroscientists on set for a podcast. He literally tells them, I'm a fucking moron. I'm not smart. I'm just good at remembering things. Mm-hmm. He was like, that's all it is.
True.
He was like
90% of people perceiving you as being smart is literally your ability to just remember something that they don't.
And you know what's I can show you the picture that I have saved from 5 years ago in my Snapchat. It's a little quote, and it kind of spooks me out that we just talked about this and it remembering, because I'm going to show you after. I can show you right now, but it literally says to remember more things is to be more human.
Yeah.
People don't realize the more you remember about life and a whole bunch of, you're adding to being a human. Yeah. You know what I mean? So the more you are a human, right? So he's just really good about remembering just random shit or shit that he's really interested in. You know what I mean? And obviously he has talks about fucking grizzly bears and silverback gorillas and all the extra shit and but that's what's dope is he does it.
That aspect of being intelligence is basically just being able to remember random shit.
Yeah, because you can sound smart as long as you know what you're talking about and you know how to put it in a sentence.
That's why I always tell people stay hungry to learn. Be
a sponge.
Be want to know.
Yeah.
Be curious.
Yeah, and then but I'm going off topic. Regardless, him and Dana White. I mean Dana White.
Who that is.
Dana White is the CEO and owner of UFC.
Okay, got it.
He's the other bald guy that is usually walking around with Joe Rogan. Or
sure.
He beefed with Jake Paul, Logan Paul.
That's because they suck.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody beefs
well,
with
actually,
them.
he likes Logan Paul. He hates Jake. He's got beef with Jake.
Both of them suck.
Yeah, but I'm just, yeah. But regardless, they're both, it's come out that either they are or plan on leaving the UFC.
How integral are they to the UFC?
Joe Rogan commentates all the fights, and he's been doing it for years.
Okay.
When the UFC started, he was in there. He's been such an integrated, he's a core father figure in the UFC. Whether it be commentating, understanding fighters, talking to fighters, interviewing fighters, Just like everything.
Just knows the world.
Yeah, and he's fought before. Like he is trained in MMA. He had the record for the hardest. I don't know if it was sidekick or like spinning back kick or something like that, but he did it, and it was like 176 pounds of human pressure or human force, and it was the record. Like, and it was beautiful, like textbook
really
technique, bro. Like that shit would shatter your fucking leg if he hit you with all that.
Yeah, that sounds
like
it.
He's a demon, right?
He's got cannons down there.
Oh,
he's hitting the sussy machine every day
for sure. You know, he's in there like squeezing his fucking thigh every day, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but regardless, yeah, he's just a father figure, and obviously Dana White has been. For me, I mean, I wish he paid his fighters more. That's like been the huge thing with you, because UFC fighters, unless you're like even being a big top name, they still get paid dog shit.
I was gonna say fighters don't really get paid a lot. Even boxers don't really get.
Boxers get bags.
I thought boxers didn't get that much.
No, boxers get fucking guap. If you are a big name, and even top, I would say, even top 5, top 10. You know what I mean? You're still going to get a good bag. 110%. Your purse is still going to be rather than the UFC, your third class levels are like 10K. Your 20 or your second class level fights are like, I think like 30K or so. I might be wrong on that, but that's the last video that I saw, some bullshit like that. And then like your big names, like they'll make like, I don't know, up to 100K, I think. I don't know. I'm probably butchering it, to be honest.
But fucking Pop-Tart in a bingo card.
Yeah, but it's nowhere near what it is worth going to war against another human being in a cage like animals.
We're gonna take it to the square circle, brother.
Bro, like, dude, the shit that we have seen in the UFC is like inhumane, and that's why people fucking love it. People are always fiending for violence. You know what I mean? Like watching two humans, like that's why even back in the day, like gladiators, like all of that shit.
I don't think I like UFC. And even boxing, like I kind of swing in and out of.
I like, bro. I saw a video today of the dude who beat Izzy. Oh fuck, his name. I don't want to butcher his name.
Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well. He's the champ now.
Yeah.
But I remember this white boy. He was talking like hella smack to him. He was like, "Oh, like, what are you gonna do? Like, yada yada, this and that.
You're gonna knock your shit out.
Blah blah blah. Like, you're not gonna do shit. Blah blah blah. This and that, right?" Literally, like, comes in, bro, and he like fakes right. So the dude like comes down, sink left hook, bro, gone. I was like,
just asleep.
I was like, oh my god, dude. Like that shit right there, bro. Like watching that shit is crazy, bro. And Dana White is like, he's good at pulling people in. He had Trump at UFC. He had like. He's a businessman at the end of the day. Like he's what started the UFC and like held it so long together. And obviously you have the Ultimate Fighter where you have people who are like, it's like the G League for the UFC and they work their way up to get a contract.
So now somebody else is taking over probably.
Hopefully. And hopefully they do something with it. You know what I mean? But I mean, we'll see where it goes. It's just kind of sad to me because I don't know. It's like end of an era type thing. Like Joe Rogan has some of the greatest commentating moments. Or the people next to him, obviously I don't know their fucking names because all I know is Joe Rogan. But there has been some like
bangers,
fire ass moment, and like his reactions are always like insane. Like there's the meme of him where he's like, "Oh, that," you know what I mean? Like, and he's just absolutely astounding. And like he gives us those moments because like he's so like
passionate.
Yeah, like he just loves it. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I wonder if that's why he's stepping away.
Probably. There's probably just so much bullshit that's now involved in it that he's just like obviously he has
he doesn't want to have it affect his passion.
And he has such a successful podcast, and obviously he has a family, and like he has other business ventures that like
he can live off of.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And he can always talk about fights and shit like that. Like every time that like he had Sugar Sean after Sugar Sean won one of his fights, like one of his bigger like coming up fights for able to like go at the belt. He had him on the podcast and stuff like that and was like talking about like fights and then like looking over like film and like, all right, like what do you think you could have done better? Or like they'll talk about other people coming up and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like he'll still get his fiend and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see where it goes.
Fair.
I kind of spazzed. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Oh. I wanted to talk about new job. So, yeah.
Congratulations! I think my
sneeze,
I think my sneeze went away. That shocked me out of it.
It was. So This new place opened about a month and a half ago, and I kind of had my eye on it, and it's exactly the vibes that I like. It's like a speakeasy kind of vibe.
Speakeasy.
This side of town, like where I live.
Oh, okay.
And
you're gonna hate that.
Yeah, but it's okay.
I'm sorry.
And the lead bartender or the bar manager is one of the top 30 bartenders in the U.S. Like he competes and everything.
Which is like
actually
lit your eyes up. Huh?
Yeah, and it's like an elevated cocktail place. So like the cocktails are actually interesting and unique and like have.
You actually learn how to make some real shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things. They also are doing. I found out whenever I went to talk to him, that they're changing the menu to where like once every month or something like that. Their plan is to allow a bartender or someone who works there to put their drink on the menu for that month.
That's lit.
Which is something that whenever I was talking about opening up my own place, I was like, this would be something that's good. It encourages worker like
they want to work
and a bunch of other stuff. And so
that's fucking lit.
I went in, talked to the bartender, kind of got the vibes of like what it's like to work there, and kind of was like, okay, like what do I want to do? And they haven't promoted the place at all, and it's already pulling about the same as my current job is.
Damn.
Yeah. And it would allow, and my current job has hoed me a lot and put me in a lot of really difficult positions consistently. And even just recently, I kind of fell into the same place that I was with Dutch, where I was like kind of pushed towards this promotion, and then nothing really happened. Only with this one, it felt like they wasted about a month and some change of my time.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to just tell me outright.
And they also knew that you'd probably end up dipping.
Yeah, which is also a thing, because whenever I told my boss, the one that we like that sometimes listens to the podcast, she didn't seem surprised. She just was like, okay. And
well, yeah, like, because she knows, like, she can't blame you.
Yeah, and
yeah, fuck everybody but her, bro. Love you, dog.
It's funny because I realized something about myself, which is that I have a really hard time leaving jobs because I don't like to, like, I have a hard time because I just feel kind of bad in some senses, I guess. But I was talking to her, and she was like, you don't need to feel bad. You don't need to, like, apologize or anything. She was like, this place isn't everybody's. And she was like, and for you, Jaxon, this type of line of work doesn't seem like it's for you for, like, the long term.
Yeah.
This feels like something you're doing because you like it for now.
It's like a hobby.
Yeah. And she's like, you do woodwork, you do like all of your content stuff. There's clearly stuff that is more creative of an outlet for you that you actually are passionate about, and it's not bartending.
Which is also what I wanted to talk to you about. We're gonna start getting you content of you making wood and like tables and shit and like doing time lapse. But that's for a different conversation.
Yeah, a different conversation later.
Yeah. But
it's one of those things that's like super. It felt really good to hear, and as soon as I put in my 2 weeks, so my last day there is March 6th. I instantly felt better. Because I kind of dreaded going to work. I felt awful going in. Even today, like, I felt awful going into work, partly because it was the morning. But it just, like, was a huge weight off my shoulders. I felt amazing and so excited. But I went in for my interview for that place because the bar manager is who I met the first time I went, and kind of talked to him. And he's like, yeah, coming on Monday, I like your vibes. I kind of like your energy. He's like, it seemed like you're passionate and everything. And he was like, and I can tell you care about the craft, which is what we're looking for. I was like, yeah, I do. Like, I all of their stuff is made from scratch. Everything. They don't have a freezer. They don't have like store-bought syrups. Like everything.
Oh, that's
all
fire.
The liquor's infused from scratch. All of their syrups are made from scratch.
That's sick.
Which is the shit that I care about.
Yeah.
That's literally what I do at home and what I am passionate about.
Yeah, and then you're gonna learn how to. That's fire.
And I get to learn new things and everything, and I get to work with like a wider array of liquors and bar like tools and stuff, and it's just. And I get to listen to real music again. Like, I get to listen to, like, actual, like, modern music or, like, 80s rock or, like, like an actual selection of music.
Rather than that bullshit that they were always playing.
Rather than fucking Frank Sinatra and shit.
Hey, whoa.
But when you've heard the same 3 Frank Sinatra songs for
I'll give you that.
almost a year, you're kind of like, hey, Frank, like, you gotta go, man.
They gotta update your playlist, bro.
Give me something new. I'm not trying to fucking hear that song again.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I can't blame you for that. I was like, we're not about to disrespect Frank the Tank.
Yeah,
but I understand what you're saying.
But I went in for the interview, and it was literally like she talked to me.
Bro, you're about to be stealing all the moms.
The GM talked to me, and she, what happened? she sits down, and it's funny because
if you tell me she called you Danny Phantom, I'm gonna run out of this room. I was about to say, bro.
I'd already met her before because I kind of like talked to her the second time that I had gone to eat there. And she was like, yeah, come in. And it was like right before Super Bowl. So I was like, I'm not going to come in and try and get this job right before the Super Bowl.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No.
And so I like sit down with her and she just kind of asked me like general background stuff. We talk about Dutch Bros for a while. And then she's like, that's crazy that you work there. She kind of asked like what I did and stuff and what it was like. And then the bar manager goes like, hey, sorry to interrupt, and hands me like the list of cocktails. And like everything that goes in them. And I was like, oh, this is, and he was like, try to remember all of that. And I was like, this is like, I have 5 days to do this. This is like half the amount of stuff I had to remember for that job. And I had 2 weeks to do it for that job.
Yeah.
I was like, so this feels a lot better that I have half this amount of stuff and I have like a shorter amount of time that I have to go without being paid a good amount.
Yeah.
But she was just like super cool. And she was like, do you have any questions? And I was like, oh, yeah. So I asked some stuff. And then she's like, okay, well, I'll get your W-2 over to you. And we'll get you sorted. I was like, I guess I'm hired.
That's fucking lit.
And they also are working with my schedule a little bit more to where I will be on more like anything but closing, basically. So I'll be like openings and like afternoon shifts. So I'll get like the dinner rushes, but I won't stay the whole time. And that way I can stream more and like be like working on the stuff that I actually care about more.
Yeah, bro. I'm hella hyped for you, dog.
So I'm real excited. And it's a place that my friends will actually visit me at because the food's banging.
Yeah, bro, because
and the drinks are
food
banging.
at old place, hot donkey duke shit.
Yeah, and the food's banging and the drinks are also so good. Anyway,
you know what? I'm here for it.
Locally owned too, so
I'm here for it, bro. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm about to just bring a whole fucking gang.
Do it.
Whole squad of people.
I'd be so hyped. Anyway,
we're just gonna fill up the bar.
Anyway,
I hate you.
Let's dive in. You know, we're pretty deep into this app.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about tech and what it kind of looks like in the next few years. But I do want to talk about why we're talking about this. Kind of, why do you think that this is an important topic, especially nowadays, for us to touch on and kind of bring into light and have conversations about in the current day and age?
Yeah. I didn't know if you wanted me to add on to that.
Like, why do you think it's an important conversation piece?
Because it's going to happen whether people want it to or not. Like, it's something like, it's one of those things you, regardless, should educate yourself on. Like, you should be caught up with somewhat of the technology that's either coming out or, like, trying to keep up on, like, news or something. You know what I mean? Like, something little. Only because when it gets to a point where you're now outdated, like, it's scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's just with like every aspect of life. Like, you should try and just stay updated in like necessary things, because you never know. Like, one, something might come out that might be useful to you, and two, something might come out that might scare you, and you're like, I'm gonna keep an eye out for that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if that happens here, I'm getting the fuck out.
Yeah, and I think that it's an important conversation piece because we're at such a point where I don't think people have realized the amount of change that's undergone in the past 23 years.
Which is why I won't live in Japan.
So from 2000, rest in peace.
Or a certain area of Japan.
From 2000 to basically this past year. Actually, it'd be like 1998 to like this past year. The amount of technological advances has been leaps and bounds, like astronomical jumps, you know, in these innovations that like continuously get better and better. Like the fact that we have electric cars is something that like people joked about in 2005.
Yeah.
And was like a future thing.
Yeah. Like, self-driving cars.
Technically 10 years later, it was a possibility.
Yeah.
And was something that was being concepted. And so, and tested. And you have all of these things that have rapidly adjusted and changed. And I don't think people have realized that it's kind of reaching a crescendo. We are reaching a point where our technology is so advanced and we're pushing so fast that it's reaching an apex where the advancements are going to be a little bit further between.
What do you mean?
So, say, for example, the joke is always like iPhones, for example, they're all kind of the same now.
Yeah.
But if you go back, you know, what are we on, 14? If you go back for 10 generations ago, so iPhone 4, the jumps between iPhone 1 to 5 are astronomical. They're giant. There's
it's
big
crazy.
changes happening.
Yeah.
They're slowly getting smaller and smaller. Now it's, oh, the bevel's not there.
Yeah, or like your camera can shoot like 860 different frames.
And the thing is you're starting to stop seeing these big innovations because, one, it's harder to innovate on something that is kind of already reaching a perfected point.
Mm-hmm.
And two, the technology is not advancing fast enough for them to make money yearly. If they took years apart to start developing these things, they would have bigger advancements.
Bro, it's like terrifying to think about, like, even the stories that have come out now of like AI, like the have you seen like the messaging of like people like basically talking with a code?
Yeah.
Terrifying.
You can have full-on conversations with AI now.
And it has like...
Well, have you heard about ChatGPT?
No.
So it's basically this AI toolkit that college students were using, and it helps solve your problems. And it can, like, so you can enter like math problems and it'll solve it, or you can like ask it to fill out a prompt and it'll generate it for you. So if you were writing an essay, it could generate it for you.
And it's obviously it's like articulated and shit.
Kind of. It's not that perfect.
Oh, okay.
Because that's a really, really advanced code. And also it's pulling from sources, so there's a lot of issues with it still. It's usable though. It is to a point where somebody could use it as a thesis statement and just kind of slice down parts of it and basically do an edit draft of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is basically written your essay minus like a couple things. Because if you're just taking this essay that this thing wrote for you and then just edit drafting it, you've done like half the work and will probably receive the same grade. But some colleges started banning it on their Wi-Fi.
Of course they did.
Because they're like, you need to be getting a real education.
You need to actually try.
Also, part of the conversation is, when does technology... are you... I go back and forth on this. Because there's a big part of me, the part of me that is grown up in the technological boom, you know? You go back, there's like the industrial age boom. There's like all these advancement booms, quote unquote. And this is the technological boom. This is where we are making leaps and bounds of progress. And growing up in that, you want to immediately be like, why would you take away this tool from me that is probably going to be around and not going anywhere because we rely on it so much? And it's a core principle.
Do more.
Yeah, and it's a core principle, and it will allow for me to advance my skills because I am seeing what it's doing, and I understand now how it got there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's obviously the people that just copy-paste, and then they're like, done.
Yeah, they're like, fuck it.
But is it also not innovative problem-solving skills to realize that is an option?
Yeah. You're just using your that's why we always say you're never cheating. You're just using your resources.
But at the same time, I understand that developing coherent writing skills and learning how to formulate proper like citations and phrasing and get your point across is an extremely important skill to harness. But these are also college students who probably at this point know how to do that. So I kind of go back and forth on this thing, which opens up more of a bigger topic for us, which is the reliance on technology. Yeah,
which obviously we know, like, from the 2000s through the 2010s, like, we've seen, like, obviously people, like, are more and more dependent on it. Obviously, like, you even see it with, like, influencers, bro. Like, even, like, there's a clip of Andrew Tate saying, like, he was like, if you don't know how to work from your phone, he was like, you're literally failing. He was like, I spent 8 to 9 hours on my phone. And he has the influence he has, and like
I was gonna say, every time you mention Andrew Tate, I get a little worried.
No, but I'm not saying anything like drastic or anything like that. But I'm just saying more of like, obviously, like he says that like if you learn how to use your phone as a like you're producing rather than consuming on it, he was like you'll start winning. He was like it'll take time, obviously, like for you to figure out algorithms and like the way shit moves and stuff like that. He was like, but obviously if you put the time in, like he's like I spent 8 to 9 hours on my phone, and he was like I make all this money. You know what I mean? Like obviously he's done his shit and like yada yada this and that. He has this whole thing, but I think it's proven from a whole bunch of people who have, like, we've seen it from Mr. Beast, who has, you know, worked his way up in the, like, the scientific formula for creating a fucking banger ass video and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, everything has a science to it. Everything has a code to it. And I think the biggest thing now with technology is, other than medical and, like, there's a lot you can learn online, like, for free.
Even medical, you can technically learn online.
Yeah, but in like good information that, like, doctors and, like, high, well-known, like, either doctors
if
or, like,
you were actually making the effort, that is stuff you can learn online.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people who are going to college and paying for shit that you can go learn for free if you just put the time in. Like, right now, college is more of a going and living with people your age and drinking and having sex and having drugs.
Point is anymore.
You know what I mean? Like, at this point now in our today's age, like, college is useless. College is it's a way to not only get away from home and, like I said, live with people your own age. It's just to be able to, like, prove that you can fold your bed on your own or make your bed on your own, fold your clothes. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't even actually, like, education wise, you can get all that shit out in the world for free.
Because you know what the most discouraging thing that I heard whenever I started college was? That everybody told me? College degrees are the new high school diplomas.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you telling your college student that? I'm spending how much money? And you're going to look at me and say, this thing is now as worth as the paper that you just got.
For free.
Yeah. That you had to get legally.
Yeah, like, by law.
Like, well, technically not. But to my understanding, by law, I had to be there. That was something that somebody told me when I was younger, is that, like, I would go to jail or juvie, I guess, if I didn't go to school enough. Isn't that wild? That somebody fucking did that to me?
Absolutely not.
Do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah,
somebody said that shit to me?
Yeah, their IQ is in the negatives, for sure.
No, they told me that to encourage me to go to school. It was somebody related to me.
Their IQ is still in the negatives. My statement still stands.
They're just an asshole.
No. They're just dumb.
Same thing. Sometimes. Oh, man. But I think that it's... Oh, Brendan.
Whether dependency on technology, AI in general is terrifying. Like, in Japan, there was like a lab that created 4 AI robots. This is spooky.
Yeah.
AI robots, right? All 4 of them spazzed and went crazy on the scientists. They shut down 3 of them before they could actually do anything. The last one killed 3 scientists and injured the 4th one, and then they shut him down. But they realized as they were shutting him down, the AI was trying to look up how to rebuild itself stronger, faster, and smarter.
So yeah, the whole...
That is Ultron. You know what I mean? Like, that's terrifying, bro.
AI that is really hard, that you kind of have to understand, because a lot of people really don't understand AI. And even me, like, I don't understand AI to its fullest capacity, but there are barriers that are in place that you are supposed to have in place to...
And people are getting stupid because obviously humans want to just, see it.
They just want to keep seeing progress.
They
want things to advance. And the problem comes when barriers either get misplaced or people don't understand the barriers and the uses for them,
like what they're there for.
Yeah.
That's like even with people trying to do trying to quote unquote live forever and storing their brain into a computer and trying to basically pull as much thoughts, your actions, your decision making, like everything you do, like store it into it. You know, like that movie with, I think it was with Johnny Depp. It was like an AI and they like created like
It's Keanu Reeves.
Was it Keanu Reeves? It was just somebody with long black hair. I remember it was
depending on which one you're talking about.
It was like they were basically scientists and like he ended up creating like storing his brain and like he like basically his body died but his mind was alive like in the computers and shit like that. Like there's a movie for it and it's spooky as fuck.
There's a couple movies like that.
Well, now it's gonna happen.
So
terrifying.
Yeah, but also there's a lot to that isn't fully achievable.
Well, they never thought that you could even get to that point beforehand.
I mean, like currently.
Yeah, but we're going to get to a point where it's going to start like that, where you're just going to be in the computer, right? And then they're going to figure out a way where you could put your brain into a robot body. And now you have you, but in a robot body. That's why that. Have you seen the AI photo of like, they asked an AI to show human evolution?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, it goes to, like, us being robots and then into just fucking power cords and then us into, like, it looks trippy as shit. Like, if you were on a psychedelic, you're probably crying and screaming and throwing, nightmare, nightmare, nightmare.
Never. So, I think that kind of what we're talking about right now is that fantasy and dystopia has slowly begun
to look like a reality.
Yeah, has begun to become what we live in or a highly probable future or current day state where you are kind of at a point where technology keeps moving forward and we're trying to keep up with it. And everybody wants to be Thomas Edison. Everybody wants to be the next Einstein or the next Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, they want
to
get
if everybody
a huge
is,
breakthrough.
nobody is at the same time. That's why they're so memorable. That's why these characters are so important.
And that's why it's so competitive right now, because you have one person coming out, oh, I just discovered how, or I just created this, and I invented this, and then someone's like, oh, well, I just invented this, and then blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, they're always trying to outdo each other. You know what I mean? And that's why Elon, I was telling you earlier, like, Elon literally warned, like, the government and, like, people of, like, AI. Like, AI is going to be our worst enemy. Like, it's going to be our worst nightmare.
Well, yeah,
if we let it keep advancing to the point where
any
we're
of
on.
the figureheads in big tech talk about AI, 9 times out of 10, like people like Bill Gates and a bunch of other tech people, like
Bill Gates is a piece of shit, though.
I'm not sure he is.
Bill Gates is a piece of shit.
There's a lot to unpack in that sentence on why you think that.
We could get into it later. If you want to get into it right now, we can.
But people like that will talk about AI and be like, hey, like we're taking steps, but we're not being cautious about the steps that we're taking. Like, I think it's funny. I think it was a tweet the other day, and it was like, every day movies like this look more motherfucking real. And
was it iRobot?
Yeah, they just showed iRobot. And the like top comment was like, I ain't trying to be Will Smith, please no.
Yeah, bro, real life, bro. Like, just off me, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, if I see that shit happening, I'm gonna just Elon's gonna be like, yo, who wants to go to Mars?
I have a question. Why do you think people are so scared of that?
Because it's first gonna start off with them replacing certain jobs. Like, they just passed a law where there was police robots, and they're allowed to use excessive force if necessary in San Francisco. Like, this shit is slowly going to start happening whether we want it to or not. You know what I mean? And people are going to start integrating that shit, because on one end you have people who are like, oh, we're not sacrificing cops' lives. And then in the same sense, it's like, respectfully, if you're not giving up your life to be a cop, why are you being a cop in the first place? It's like the same thing with the military, bro. If you're going to go be in the military and you want to go, like, fight for your country, yada, don't get me wrong, there's a whole bunch of different avenues that you can do and serve the country, yada, yada. Like, I get all that shit. But at the end of the day, you're trying to serve your country. The whole I would die for my country, but prove it is my whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, and I get, like, oh, like, maybe we can just use robot or blah, 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 this and that. Like, and then we do the same thing we did with guns, where we start shipping robots off to fucking, the Middle Eastern countries and shit like that, and somehow they get their fucking hands on it, or Russia, starts creating their fucking AIs, and, China gets their AIs, and then we're at a robot war. Like, right now we're about to be, they're talking about nukes. You know what I mean? Like, my man Putin does not give a flying fuck right now, bro. He is, like, actually, like, basically told him, like, if it gets to a point, like, if they are back down to a certain point, like, their only option is nukes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're just going to give up like that. But that's a whole different topic.
For me, I think the reason that people are scared is because people who usually admit that they're terrified of the AI understand how vulnerable humans are.
And how weak and fragile we are.
We have to eat. We have to drink. We have to do certain things. Whereas if you create certain technological avenues, they don't require all that stuff. They just require energy. And there are batteries that we have. There are power kits that we have that will last years.
Yeah.
Also, not to mention that, like, if you just even remotely implant, like, wireless charging or solar panels, like, things that will encourage longevity for a thing. And also, we're destroying the planet. It's no secret.
Yeah, that's another thing Elon has said. He's like, it's not going to be in our lifetime. He was like, but if we're continuing on the path, he was like, within the next 50 million years, he was like, I assume that the world is basically going to be no more 110%. He's like, if not sooner.
Well, my thing is if, say for example, somebody makes an AI and its intent is to encourage the survivability of mankind. And the route that it sees is, okay, well, there's too many emissions, there's too many people, and that's why there's more emissions.
Too many people who don't give a fuck about the environment, and they're doing all this shit.
I need to equalize it.
Yeah, and then that's going to be it's going to be oh, I'm doing my job.
Have you also heard this theory about where people talk... Okay, so there's a bunch of scientists who are working on increasing lifespan, increasing longevity. And people are say that they're getting closer and closer to understanding how to de-age, slow down the process drastically. Obviously,
I think I saw a video on that.
Obviously, that type of technology, that type of stuff, is only going to be available for a long time to the very rich people. The people who can afford, to buy 6 Bugattis and be like, yeah.
I don't know how much longer Biden got, but they better start pumping that motherfucker, bro. Because did you see him handshake a ghost?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Bro, this man, after talking on the podium...
I don't know who you're talking about. Biden.
Joe Biden, our president.
Uh-huh.
This man got done talking on the podium to a camera, right? Turns to his right to go handshake somebody, and nobody's there.
My man's going through it.
Nobody's there. Joe Rogan clipped it. He talked about it on a podcast. He goes, if people tell me that is not an issue, you're out of your fucking mind.
We ain't got to talk about this right now.
It was so funny, bro.
But those people can afford that, right? They can afford, to buy stuff like that. Then, they will just slowly... The whole plan is to get rid of all of the poor people because they're the problem. We're the cockroaches of the world.
Yeah, they're going to start with the homeless and then go lower class.
Imagine they just wipe the table. And it's just the population of the earth goes to 6 billion. Or whichever it is now.
And all the elites are just sitting and they're
15,000.
Oh, that would be insane.
And it's just
the elites.
The people who could live forever, and they just are breeding the highest, the most pure people, and everything else is taken care of. Because they have enough of the people who are intelligent enough to maintain the advancements that we've made societally to have everything else taken care of.
I'll tell you what, it would be scary because I know for a fact the world would obviously start.
This is just a good episode to make you freak the fuck out, I guess.
Yeah, bro, this is really just some mindfuck shit, but it would be really scary to watch. Obviously, the world would regrow itself and just grow over everything. Animals would probably get starting, repopulating. You'd probably start seeing a whole lot more habitat and shit like that, because I can't wait for the point where we get so fed up with not knowing what's underwater and start trying to fucking go underwater, because there's a reason. I feel like there's a reason we haven't,
because of pressure.
Well, obviously, but there's got to be some type of technology where
they're working on that.
Yeah, obviously, slowly but surely.
So it's not we haven't gotten fed up with the thing.
It's a timetable thing, you know what I mean, where we're slowly going to get down. There's going to be a point, though, where we're going to see some shit. Oh, we're going to see some shit about how...
about the water. Can we not?
I totally forgot.
How do you think addiction plays into... technological
start getting all antsy and shit,
and your daily life in the future, the next 5 years, let's say, technological addiction.
Well, we already have smart homes and shit like that. That you could walk out and be start talking to your crib and shit like that. Don't ever put me in a crib like that, because I'm never gonna leave. It's gonna be me and my homie in this.
That's literally the house that I want to make.
Bro, I do not. I think the coolest thing about that would have you seen?
I'm working on some stuff.
Are you?
I'm working on some stuff. There's these chips that you can get that basically they're like key tags. You put them on in your phone case or in your wallet. And so imagine in your phone case. This is why I would get a phone case if I got these.
Yeah.
You walk into a house, you just press your phone on the wall when you enter, and then it recognizes who you are. And
that's so much money. Do you know that?
No, it's not.
Really?
It's so cheap because these key tags are like 15 cents a pop.
That's wild.
So I'm paying like $30 in total for all of the stuff that I need because I already have other stuff that I need.
That's sick.
So I like press key tag, and then immediately my light turns on in my room. And then like it starts playing my playlist, or like if I set it to where I have like smart washers, like whatever it might be.
Yeah. Well, that's like entirety of I don't know if you've seen the video of a dude who has like a bunch of albums set up on his wall, and they're all hooked up through like Apple tags and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so like he walked up to the Mac album and he put his phone up near it, and so it's all reactive to like the beats and shit like that. So like he has like LED lights and it's like playing Weekend.
See, this is the thing. People who know me, who like really know what I would do if I got a lot of money, and like if it boiled down to like Jaxon has all this money that he could spend to make his like.
You would have like a designer dream house.
I would literally design my house, get it built,
and
then if I want like roommates, have them move in with me, and then set up the smart house part of it, where I would have it do just like all of the reactor stuff, all of the cool things that I know are like extremely capable.
What if we got like 20 people to just buy a big ass crib?
That is so problematic.
Why?
You haven't lived with anybody that is not your family, and that's why.
You're right.
And that's why.
Okay,
maybe you don't understand.
Okay, maybe not 20 people, maybe like 10 to 12. Fat ass content crib.
Yeah, you know how content houses normally fall apart?
That's because they're not responsible.
Brendan, I want you to take a deep breath and think about what you just said to me, and then look around this room.
I know. We don't have to talk about it. I just think it'd be a great idea.
Yeah, it'd be cool. But also,
I think it'd be a great idea.
It's not plausible. We don't even know 10 to 12 people that we would feel comfortable living with.
I already got it, bro.
Let's go.
No, we're not gonna name it right now.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
I got 5.
No. Yeah, I got like 4 or 5.
And they all have to get along.
Oh yeah, it'll be easy. Easy, bro. Especially if the said agreement is we're here to make some fucking guap.
That's not okay. There's so many problems with this.
No,
Let's move forward.
That's the whole point of a content house. All right. Regardless, that was a funny little off track.
Smart houses are lit, and that's my dream. But also, I understand why it's a problem. But I really don't care. The goal is just to.
I feel like a smart house is a little bit different.
The goal is to, with the aid of Casey Gaming, just develop our own like AI
smart house. But you guys are renting though.
So
I think you guys should have looked to buy your own crib. I think that would have been dope.
Yeah, but right now I'm talking about just like having a smart house doesn't affect whether or not I'm renting.
Oh, I thought you had to go like through walls and start like putting
there's
shit
stuff you
in.
can do that is still good that doesn't require you to.
Oh, that's like where my mind went like off.
There's stuff that
like
I would like to do that is that deep, but is not a current problem nor something that I'm like that concerned about.
Oh, okay. Because I know how
cool with Casey Gaming to develop our own like Alexa, basically.
I feel you. You know, that's another thing with technology. If you have an Alexa in your house, a Google Home, anything that you can talk to, they're listening wholeheartedly. Oh, yeah. There have been people. If you're fucking near it, they heard you fucking, bro. If you're talking about some serious shit, bro, if you heard or you were talking about some serious shit argument wise, they heard every little fucking bicker of it. If you were talking shit about one of your roommates, bro, they heard all that shit, bro.
Yeah, and this is a saying that I've been living by for the past 3 months, which I realize has made me feel so much more comfortable with my relationship with technology, which is this. If you are going to have technology be a big part of your life, you are immediately less inclined to privacy.
Yeah, like you have,
you have to be okay with that.
You have no privacy at all.
You want to have an iPhone?
Like right now, somebody's watching us on that little webcam. You know what I mean?
You know, if you want to have an iPhone, what's the first thing that it's going to ask you to do?
Ask you to track all your shit. And, bro, they track everything. Yeah.
Give us your email.
Yeah.
What's your social security number? What's your mother's maiden name?
Literally, bro.
What's your credit card so you can use Apple Pay? you make an email account. What's the first thing it asks for? Your phone number, a backup email, your first, last name.
Traps.
All of it.
Over with.
If you want to set up a bank account and you want to log into your bank account on your phone, you got to enter all that shit. Your usage of technology immediately invokes less privacy.
Yeah, your digital footprint is
and it's something
fucked.
that I've noticed, even like, because people will talk to me, like Soko talks to me, or my mom, or like random bar guests will talk to me about whenever either this comes up or whatever, right? And they'll talk to me about if I get concerned. Like, I had a bar guest. It was this old couple, of course it was, and they were talking to me about TikTok because they were asking like my relationship with TikTok because they were wanting to know about podcasts and then like content creation and stuff. And I was like, they're like, you're not worried about China listening to you and tracking you? And I looked at him and I said the exact thing of like privacy is less deserved. And I was like, I'm trying to be involved in an industry where people have access to me almost all the time.
Yeah, that's like literally the whole point is like being like having a whole bunch of people literally judge you by what you do.
I live my life, and they could be watching a video of me from 2 years ago, and I'm still a part of their life in some way, in the most fucking bad way possible.
Yeah, that's always the fear, is like just somebody obviously picking on something that
Okay, we're gonna get dark here pretty soon because these lights aren't fully charged.
No, we did this shit again.
Yeah, I think one of them got used. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here because it's about to get real dark in this podcast.
Real darky dark.
Yeah, it's a Halloween episode again. So that's our talk kind of about tech. Cutting it short. We have a lot of stuff to talk about this, and I am sure that it is a topic we will revisit.
I was gonna say it'll resurface
once a year, if not more, because it's already. I think we've talked about it twice already, and it's just a topic that is very interesting.
And it's always like,
it's
getting more and more in depth. Yeah.
So let's come up for air, Brendan. You want to talk about hippocampus?
Yeah, I'm just trying my best to stop being a hypocrite. And like obviously telling people to like go do their shit and like get on their shit, and then me not do that. So I'm slowly trying to get my shit together. Cause like I've gotten my shit together and like discipline wise, and now it's like, all right, so now you're disciplined, go and like start attacking shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like I was just trying to do everything at once rather than like step by step. So I'm slowly learning my boogie. You know what I mean? What about you, dog?
So I'm gonna say something, and then you're gonna ask me a question. I don't know the answer to the question that you're gonna ask me.
Okay.
I had some baseball players come and sit down at my work last night.
Who are the baseball players?
I don't know. I told you I won't know the answer to your question.
Okay.
But they said something because we went the whole time they were eating until they got their desserts, not knowing they were baseball players. They were like professionals. They were here for spring training.
Oh, nice.
And so then I was like, oh, you guys are baseball players. And they're like, yeah. And they kind of said like, we don't want to talk about it. I was like, oh, I'm bad at baseball. Anyway, and then they're like, us too. And I was like, that's funny. And then we just kept going about our business. And then it got brought up again, kind of like just being baseball players and like the idea that some of them are just like almost action figures that they go back to locker rooms, sit in their little toy box and wait until somebody summons them again.
Yeah. Because that's how it is with most athletes.
And that's like the world they live in there. And they were just like, we just don't get how people can do that.
Yeah. People think they're robots.
Yeah. And I was talking to them and I was just like, yeah, it must be kind of weird to go out and then have people recognize you and kind of feel like you can't live a normal life, or like it comes with weird baggage or like a set of circumstances, which I say knowing that this is the world I want to get kind of involved in.
You're like, I want to be a celebrity,
but I don't so much want to be a celebrity, but yeah. But then they're like, I mean, it's a service. They're like, every job that you work, the moment you put on a uniform or the moment you enter a space where you can be recognized as doing X service, you immediately come with a title or a package or some way that you get treated differently.
And expectations.
Yeah. Like whenever you go to a bar and you are also a bartender and the bartender that's working finds out you're a bartender, immediately their attitude shifts.
No.
Whenever we would go talk to people and tell them that we were Dutch Bros, immediately their attitude shifts. And it's the same thing for like celebrities. You know, you find out somebody's famous or, you know, professional, whatever, then like
or like a businessman, or your whole demeanor changes.
Immediate shift. And it's just kind of like a weird thing that I didn't realize that like it happens on the most minute level no matter what you do. Like people will treat you differently whenever they find out what your job title is.
Yeah.
Or like it can shift. Sometimes it, you know, it's not always applicable, but like a lot of, for the most part, societally wise. And I just thought it was like a weird, kind of cool, interesting thing. It's like every job has a, you know, something that it brings with it.
No. And just obviously seeing the insight of like someone who plays like a professional
someone
sport.
Who deals with being recognized.
Yeah.
And saying like, yeah, even you will probably have that problem. Even you are treated a different way because you are in uniform right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, that's wild.
So that's deep.
Yeah. And then I went into work today and I was like, dang, I'm being treated like a lesser human because I'm servicing these people. I understand what he means now. Not really, but I mean, that did happen, but
fuck those people though.
Yeah, dude. Fuck you, lady who ordered salad.
Yeah, fucking whore.
She was like, we ordered salads. Why are they not out? Nothing has to be cooked in them. I was like, you ordered a roasted beet salad. There's cooked stuff in that, 1. And 2, your husband ordered garlic bread. And it's been 5 minutes. She's like, you just have to warm it up. And I was like, no, dog.
You said we have real dough that you actually cook.
I'm like, what? Anyway,
sounds very
this episode's gonna
Caucasian.
be short, but I think last week we ran long, so it's okay. But our lights are gonna die, so our last one is gonna die. But yeah. Anyway, Brendan, where can they find you?
Instagram, Twitch, Twitter,
TikTok,
and TikTok. Killer B420. TikTok Killer B Dabs. What about you, bud?
You can find me at RQ on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube.
Hell yeah. You can find us at
Coming Up for Air Podcast on TikTok.
Podcast.
That's all I got.
Coming Up for Aircast on Instagram and Up for Aircast on Twitter.
Ooh.
Got him. Hell yeah.
And if you liked this content, if you liked this episode, make sure to share it with a friend, share it with love, or share it with your mama, share it with somebody who need to hear it. Yeah. But other than that,
love you guys. Be a good human being.
Yeah, do that. See you next Wednesday. For real this time.